But that is the kind of past that these people want to get back to. They want to go back to the Hays Code and the time when obscenity was against the law and the time when homosexuality was against the law, and you had vice divisions that would crack down on sex workers and the LGBT community. Like, that is their glory days. That's what they want to go back to. I made a blog post that basically goes over the people who are running this whole entire thing. So the people who are part of Trafficking Hub, they have some partnership with BBC. Like, BBC has been giving them really favorable coverage that is very manipulative. Like, in the article that was written by the BBC, they said a letter seen by the BBC or something like that, and it was so manipulative because this letter is public. It's not like the BBC got exclusive rights to this letter. And the journalists that have also covered this will actually cite the BBC and be like, well, according to the BBC, it's like, no, you don't need to go by the BBC. They're cherry picking stuff. They're like partnered with these organizations for reasons I don't know, but they've been covering them very favorably. But this letter is public. Anyone can read it. And I actually included it on my website. I'll probably link it in the description as well. But I'm going to read you parts of the letter to show you what I'm talking about. This is not like a very hidden agenda, but they're working really hard to curate this narrative that isn't true. They're not doing this for the children. They are doing this because they want to ban porn and they want to ban sex workers from the ability to make a living. That's really their whole goal. We are writing to you to request that your company stop processing payments for the pornography industry.
Oh my.
Well, here's something that the mainstream media isn't talking about. And it's very important that you listen to what's going on out there. And we have discussed this before, and you say, well, it will never happen to me. Never doubt that. Never doubt that it will never happen to you, because it can. See, the way the political climate is going on, if you say something that is just against the main radicals that are out there right now, or you might have a job that they do not like, that they want to get rid of, a particular profession out there, they don't like it, or if you're part of a particular political group, or maybe a bunch of guys that, that stand around a bar talking about politics all day long. Or you might be a content creator on YouTube or many other sites, or Rumble as well. And what it is, and this is an opinion piece out from XBiz by Corey Silverstein. We're going to read a little bit into this. What's going on is banking discrimination, or financial discrimination, and however you want to put it onto there. We have banks out there that are just literally either canceling people's accounts or not allowing people to open accounts because of who they are, and stuff, which technically that violates laws, many laws, banking laws to begin with. It violates the Constitution, racism, and many other things. But these companies go, well, we are our own company, and we can decide what businesses we can go for. Yes and no. See, the thing about it is, if you're sitting there and you're like, well, these people are going to, bring down my business. How? People don't, unless you're an activist and you're looking for these people, the average consumer doesn't care who's in your bank on a constant basis. They're not asking, hey, listen, is Jack the Ripper in the, one of your customers? They don't ask that. They just do their banking system. Hopefully everything works out. And, they're in and out, from the ATM or in the bank itself. And, they do their business online. On occasion, you may hear some sort of scandal to the situation and people start taking their money away. But, you have to make that decision for you. But the banks are doing it for you on top. And that's not right. The consumers should have the choice whether they do business with you or not the business itself.
Frustration is that at this point, there aren't really any mainstream banks left that are willing to work with us, it seems. I've had hundreds of performers report to me, whether it was Wells Fargo or Chase or Bank of America that they had problems with. We're essentially being forced to go to hopefully credit unions that will take us because we're too much of a risk. Being someone that's never bounced a check or gone into overdraft, the only actual reason that I can see why I would be assumed a risk is because of the online deposits that I'm getting.
And of course, Alfonso, you're an attorney. Let's talk about this. Is this more about morality and not actual financial risk or fiscal risk?
Well, Isaiah, good to see you. And one of the things that really stood out at me when your producer called me about this segment, I had to stop and think, and I said, whoa, Wells Fargo has a moral compass all of a sudden?
We know their track record. We know what they've done.
Right. They've been alleged to have defrauded millions of consumers across platforms, mortgages, you name it. I think there always exists some language in these agreements that a consumer banking customer will sign off on, and leaves a lot of discretion to the bank on who they choose to do work with or not. But when you start looking at this in terms of an overarching category of individuals that they are targeting for exclusion from their bank, I don't think you can just take at face value what's contained in the construct of those agreements.
We're going to read a little bit, not the whole thing on this. So it's a long opinion. While foes of adult entertainment industry often focus on moral concerns and perpetuate social stigmas, another form of attack can be equal or even more damaging: financial discrimination. Individuals and businesses working in the adult industry frequently encounter financial hurdles and unfair treatment that affects their economic stability and opportunities. This is not new, but recently both the industry members and mainstream media have been getting louder and more organized about addressing financial discrimination. I don't hear too much from the mainstream media. From the independent, yes, we are saying a lot more about this. Organizations such as the Free Speech Coalition and Woodhull Freedom Foundations have been making tremendous effort and progress getting organized and getting the industry voices heard. In fact, during a recent trip to Washington, the FSC reps got some much needed face time with lawmakers and their staff. Performers and platform operators have done an amazing job using social media, recruiting their audiences to bring attention to this subject. The progress is evidenced by the fact that the mainstream media outlets and around the globe, such as the New York Times, The Guardian, Vice, and Wired, are publishing articles bringing this issue to a broader public's attention. Not enough. Not enough. If you read some of those articles, it still lambasts the industry itself. Not the banking, but the people, that are subject of this situation. One of the most glaring forms of financial discrimination is the banking sector's treatment of those associated with the adult entertainment. Performers, producers, and businesses in the industry encounters obstacles when they're trying to open bank accounts or access financial services. Many banks enforce discriminatory policies, refusing accounts or even closing existing ones upon discovering ties to the adult industry. The treatment leaves individuals and the business grappling with limited bank options, which affect their ability to manage finances, receive payments, or invest in their future. The payment processing landscape in particular presents a minefield of challenges. Many processors refuse to work with the adult entertainment business, citing moral reasons or concerns about regulatory compliance. Nothing to do with regulatory compliance, really, honestly. This restricts the option available for transactions, hindering financial growth and stability. See, the thing about it is, we talked about one woman, she's in the adult industry, and she had a Wells Fargo account for 30 plus years, and they closed it out. She never bounced a check. She never had an issue with the account. It was, it was always good. But because she worked in the industry, they decided to part ways. And this was a company, and this was a bank that was willing to work with the industry. What happened within that year? One year they're saying, well, yeah, that's all right. And the next year they're like, no, we can't do it. What happened within that year? I'll tell you this, activists. Some discriminatory practices extend beyond banking and payment processing to areas that impact financial stability indirectly. Adult entertainers often face difficulties in obtaining health or life insurance, encountering higher premiums or outright denials. Even securing housing can be problematic, with landlords or property owners denying leases or evicting tenants upon discovering their occupations. The repercussions are profound. Beyond immediate financial strain, this kind of exclusion inhibits access to traditional financial tools such as loans, mortgages, or investment opportunities. This exacerbates economic inequality. It perpetuates a cycle of limited options and restricts individuals from securing their financial future. Now, there's a lot more to it, and I tell you, go to XBiz. There's a lot more to this article. I just wanted to give you the gist of it. But what my feelings on this is, say you're a minority, a certain color and all that, and this happened in the past. It doesn't happen. It's not supposed to happen today. But say you're a particular minority, you go into a bank and they said, nah, we don't think you're suited for us. That because of the way your community has been, we just can't trust you. We can't trust you to have an account with us.
I have nothing after fighting for it all this time. Now I don't have anything, and it's like y'all can just take it and you're okay with that.
Remember, it's Charlotte's disabilities, which include severe asthma, that led to this large check. And listen to what they say a bank manager told them about a possible reason for the hold on the check.
Biggest one that got me was like, yeah, because sometimes they have drug deals. I say, oh.
Or criminal activity
linked to the check.
Making matters worse, Bank of America closed her account just days after opening it.
The Justice Department claims Los Angeles-based City National Bank refused to underwrite mortgages in predominantly Black and Latino areas of the city from 2017 to 2020 and discouraged residents in these neighborhoods from obtaining mortgage loans. The agreement requires the bank to pay $31 million.
Fair and just housing services are critical in an area such as Los Angeles.
Dr. Malika Mitchell-Stewart was overjoyed when, after more than a decade of school and giving birth to her second child late last year, she officially became a doctor. With that title came a new job and a more than $16,000 signing bonus.
It's like a aha moment, like I finally made it. I finally am successful.
This was your moment.
It was my moment.
And it was
taken away.
Taken away by Chase Bank, according to Mitchell-Stewart, when they refused to cash her check. She's now suing for $1 million, alleging discrimination, claiming they refused her services because she's a Black woman. Accusations that Chase tells NBC News are, quote, completely false.
If I would have came in as a white male with that same check, I'm sure they would have verified it, deposited, and opened an account for them that day.
Think about that. What would happen today? What would happen to that bank today? You would hear protests left and right. Yeah, that you would. This is the same thing. These are people of all various colors, creeds, from all over the place. They're trying to have their own business. A lot of them are women. I'll tell you this, a lot of them are women. And they're not allowed to get their businesses. Most people criticize the the entertainment industry, saying, like, oh, it's a man's thing in a situation. But when you look at it, more and more women are coming to the forefront. And basically, they're opening up their own businesses, whether it's an OnlyFans, whether it's, creating their own label. I mean, we go back to the days of Candida Royale. I met Candida Royale many years ago. when she started her own business, Femme Productions. And, you know, the character that you saw in, even though it's exaggerated a little bit in The Deuce, but that was sort of Candina in a way. I mean, I don't think she was a prostitute from Raw's situation, but, you know, she was a woman working up in the adult industry and decided to make her own films. A little bit more artsy. They're not like the standard hardcore films. They're more romance to the situation. If you haven't seen them yet, I think they're available online now if you look it up. They just went on to one particular website that you can sign up and watch some of her films, like Three Daughters. But she got ahead. She was doing her own business, editing, filming. She ran her own business for the many years until her death. And if you look at a lot of her, you know, her sites, she's listed as an American film producer and director, not a porn star. She worked in the pornography business, yes, but she was a film producer and director. She did her own stuff. And you know, she had to get a bank account. She had to get loans, you know, which back then was a lot more tougher to get, not because of the porn industry. It's just because, you know, if you were a small business, small businesses could, you know, they were harder to get loans. Things have changed since then. You know, small businesses are not, you know, allowed to get better loans these days for some people, not all. But now you look at the perspective that these banks are saying, well, we're trying to protect our company. Protect it from what? From protesters? Because that's who's knocking on their doors. This is who's whispering in their ears. They're saying, hey, you know, this particular porn star has an account with you. This particular person who happens to be conservative banks at your company. This is what happens. This is the secret that's back behind there. This is not the bank saying, you know, on the, that, yeah, you know, it's not going to be on. It might be for a bank or certain banking company or two, but on the overall, what you're having here is just like advertisers. You have those attacking advertisers, especially like on YouTube and, you know, and many other social media platforms, because people disagree what the programming or the opinions of people that are on these services. You know, they say, oh, porn is bad, but then don't watch it. Don't watch the pornography. Nobody is forcing the porn in there. As much as people think, oh, porn's everywhere. No, sex sells. Sex sells. You're going to have people, girls in bikinis, guys. You know, they worry more about girls in bikinis than guys in their BVDs. You know, they could be wearing their boxers. This is what happened overseas. There was one girl, she was partially naked. There was some sort of ad, and they criticized that. But meanwhile, major actor was in his jockeys, and nobody had a problem with that. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. You know, they attacked Sports Illustrated, but they didn't attack GQ. They didn't attack any of the male magazines, Playgirl or anything like that. They attack Playboy, Hustler, but they don't attack the male magazines. They don't attack the male models. They mostly attack the women. They said, oh, the women are being... Most of these women are doing it for themselves. They made the decision. So tell me in the comments below your thoughts about this. Because, you know, this is very important. Because you could be next. Yeah, that's right. You could be next. You could say something and they tell you, well, sorry, we're going to have to close your account. That's a violation. That is a total violation. People don't realize it. This is the thing that is in everywhere. People are violating constitutional rights, including the courts, counties. We've discussed this on many of the Mercedes Carrera trial and many other things that are going on. So let me know in the comments. Don't forget to share this video, hit the like, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. So until next time, thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.
Thanks for watching, commenting, and sharing this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe, as this helps the reach of this channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help support this channel as new internet laws around the world will diminish our reach and affect our sponsors. If you choose to help, there are two ways listed in the description below. The first link will lead you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will lead you to our gear shop where you can buy shirts, mugs, and other gear. Discounts will be listed on the site. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.